back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and this setup video begins a Rolling Solo showcase for Townsfolk Tussle coming from Panic Roll. Now, this game is part of a recently fulfilled Kickstarter. There is plans for a future campaign or reprint, which should include an expansion, but any details around it or beyond it that I've just mentioned now could change and are subject to change. I'm not sure what the future holds for this one, but it is coming back in some capacity. So, in order to help you make an informed decision on it now or in the future, we're going through a full showcase, a setup video, and showing you a playthrough of it to give you an idea as to whether or not this is something for you. So without further ado, let's dive into the setup, going through each of the steps that you need to do to get this game to the table in a solo fashion. This is a co-op boss battler. You are located inside of Eureka Springs, and you're going up against a bunch of ruffians. So let's get to it. The very first step of setup is to lay out the main board, which I've already gone ahead and done. I've also placed the sideboard, which has a town phase side and a fight phase side. Make sure the town phase side is face up. Step number 2 is to grab all the peddler gear, and you'll know this because it has a blue back with a peddler right on the back of it. Now, you can grab about half the deck and just run with that. For me, I've gone ahead and grabbed the entire deck and placed it there. Next up is the town events, and there is one change here when playing solo. You're going to go through the town events, and you're going to remove every single town event that has a secret banner across the top. It's not a large portion of the town event deck, but these need to be removed for the solo play. This is the only change to setup that's major. The only other thing to note is that when playing solo, you're controlling 3 heroes. Just below the town events deck is the feats deck, and all 3 of these piles of cards should be thoroughly shuffled. Step number 3 is to flip all the ruffian tokens face down. They have the question marks on the back. Then just select 4 at random and place them on the town map in the bottom left-hand corner of the main board. The rest of the ruffian tokens can go back to the game box, and these 4 tokens are going to flip over as you progress through the game, letting you know which ruffian you're going up against in the fight phase next. And it's always a surprise. Step number 4 has the players each controlling 1 townsfolk, so go ahead and select one. When you're playing solo, though, you're controlling 3, as I mentioned prior, so in this case, I've decided to choose the 3 in the very top row. The 3 townsfolk that I'll be controlling in my upcoming playthrough will be Quintus Binch, Henlo Bulwark, and Norman Fishboy. Now, when choosing the townsfolk you wish to control, beyond the name, the artwork, their particular stat starting positions, their abilities, and maybe even their starting gear that you're mulling over in terms of which characters or individuals you want to use, you can also flip these boards over to find more of a narrative around the backstories of each of these characters, which might pull you in one direction or the other. It's also worth noting that you don't have to go ahead and select the individual townsfolk you'd like to use. You could also randomize it by using the tokens included in the game, throw them in a draw bag, draw them out randomly to determine which is going to make up your group of townsfolk. Lay out all the townsfolk boards in front of you. Ensure that you have room to the right and to the left of the boards, as you'll be placing things in their headgear, chest gear, leg gear slots on the left, and left hand, right hand, and accessories on the right. You also have the token for the townsfolk, and you need all the miniatures for the group of 3 when you're playing solo. So I've gone ahead and grabbed those. Now next, on each of the stat columns, you're going to see a starting number that is shaded in to match the color of the townsfolk you're using. So in this case, we have a 4, 5, 2, and 0. We're going to place black counters in each one of those positions. Additionally, inside the box are red counters, and they are used if you wish to actually cap your maximum HP to ensure you don't go beyond it by accident. You can simply place that just one position above where you started, and again, this is optional. You may or may not need to do this. Step number 5 ensures that every single townsfolk has 10 coins to begin the game, and also all of the starting gear that's listed at the bottom of their player card. So Quintus has a rubber bat and stolen candy, and you know which slots to put these cards into underneath the title of each of the card in smaller text that might be tough to see. It says here melee and one-handed mace, so you know it's a one-handed weapon, so you can place in your left or your right hand, your choice. And then down below, this one is an accessory. It's a consumable, so once we use it, it's gone, but this goes in the accessory slot. This will help you to figure out where all these cards should be slotted in. Now, the next townsfolk right next to Quintus is Henlo, and Henlo has some farmer's overalls that goes in the leg gear position. On the right-hand side of Henlo's player card is a wheat sickle, which is in the left hand currently. Norman Fishboy is the final townsfolk I'm controlling. I have a fishy cap as headgear and a reliable rod, which I actually have placed between the left hand and the right hand because it mentions on it it's a two-handed weapon. Step number 6 is to place each townsfolk corresponding token that we placed next to each of the player boards earlier on the buying and beaten order bar in the order of your choice. And they recommend to do this in a clockwise rotation. This bar works twofold. At the very top, it gives you the order, starting with the ruffian at the very beginning, which is always in the top slot, and then it goes through the rest of the townsfolk for the beaten order. But when you're doing the buying order in the town phase, you start from the bottom and work your way up. You're going to want to grab the crit reference card as well as the turn cheat sheet, and on the opposite side, the round cheat sheet. And as you'll notice in the smaller text on the crit hit card reference here, when you get a crit inside of the game, you're going to go ahead and roll on this chart afterwards in order to determine what happens next. There's positives and negatives on this chart. And it's worth mentioning you'll want to keep the card box within easy reach, as you'll be using cards inside this box and also placing cards back inside of it as you go through gameplay. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up this setup video for Townsfolk Tussle by Panic Roll. Hope to see you in Eureka Springs together as we try and take down a ruffian in the near future. We first need to go through the town phase, and then we'll go through the fight phase together. I really hope this helps you make an informed decision on the game. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next episode, and as always, keep on rolling solo.